But once upon a shimmer beneath the glistening waves of the rainbow reef, there lived a curious little creature known as the Gnarble. Gnarbles were gentle beings with soft fins, floppy tails, and big, hopeful eyes. But this Gnarble named Nori was different. His tail was not quite as strong as the others, and his fins were tiny, but in his heart burned a bright, glowing dream to see the twinkling skies above the sea, where the water ended and the air began, every day. The elder Nibble told stories of creatures who soared into the open airbirds that dipped their tails into the sea, dolphins that leaped with silver arcs yet. Nori himself had never swum beyond the deepest coral ledge. Gnarbles simply didn't leave their reef. But Nori's dream whispered louder than the sea currents that maybe, just maybe, he could too. One morning, at sunrise, when the water turned golden and lazy, Nori wiggled awake. He nudged his best friend, a playful sea star named Trepet, and whispered, "I think I'll try it today, swim higher, past the reef and see the sky." Tress bubbled with worry. "But Gnarbles don't do that, Nori. What if the deep shadows catch you? Or the groblins with their glowing eyes?" Nori nodded. "I know the stories, but I think I can be brave enough." And so, with a trembling tail and a hopeful smile, he gathered a satchel of tiny seashell snacks, hugged Tress low, and set off toward the unknown. Past rainbow corals and waving anemone forests, he swam. Graceful manta rays glided overhead. Curious clownfish peeked out from their cocoons. The farther Nori went, the higher the light got, until the water grew tepid and bright. And suddenly he found himself at the edge of the reef's top ledge where the sea finally touched the sky. And then he slid through the surface of the water and poked his head up. The world above was more magnificent than anything he'd imagined. The sky rolled wide and blue, sprinkled with fluffy clouds that looked like sugar-dusted marshmallows. A soft breeze tickled his cheek hair, warm and gentle. Nori's eyes sparkled. He might have gasped had he not been awfully careful not to swallow a mouthful of air. But just then, something rustled in the tall seagrass on the shore. A pair of golden ducks waddled near, quacking softly. A kindly pelican landed a little distance away, its wings folded like a cloak. "Hello there," quacked a duck with a bright yellow beak. "You're a fishy creature, yes. What are you doing up here?" Nori blushed a deep aquamarine. I came to see the sky." "Oh," said Pell the pelican, "you must be strong and brave. Many sea creatures wish to do what you did, but few try." Pell flapped his wings once and continued, "There is something you might want to try from here if you leap, just so you can ride the breeze and see the world from way up high." Nori's fins fluttered. "But I can't fly," he said softly. "Not fly," said Pell Glide. "Surf the air currents just above the waves." He pointed a large feathered wing toward the horizon. "Would you like to try?" Nori's heart thumped with excitement and fear. But he nodded bravely, Pell explained. "Hold your tail stiff but gentle." Shape your fins like wings. Let the wind lift you just a little, then let it carry you. Nori took a deep breath. He waded into the shallows until just his tail touched water, then pushed off. Up he soared an inch above the waves, his fins spread like tiny sails, his floppy tail catching the wind like a kite. He giggled as he glided. The sea below glittered like shards of sapphire. The reef faded behind him, a colorful quilt. He skimmed above the water, dancing on the breeze. But suddenly, a heavy grey cloud drifted overhead and blocked the sun. The wind faltered, Nori wobbled. He landed with a soft splash in the water, heart pounding but still smiling. Pell flew down beside him. "You did it, Nori. You glided." Nori gasped excitedly. "I saw the world from above the waves." I never thought," Pell nodded, dignity shining in his eyes. "Then it was worth trying." With newfound courage in his fins, Nori swam back to his reef. The journey had changed him. The groblins beneath the reef, who whispered doubts, seemed smaller now. He told Tress and the elder Nibbles of his adventure, of the ducks and the pelican, of the wind gliding and the world above. And that night, as the reef grew dark and glowing plankton blinked like stars under the sea, Nori lay in his favorite nook and soared in his dreams. He dreamed that he was part of the sky. He dreamed that one day he would share his gliding skills with other Nibbles, teaching them that dreams can lift you higher than fins or tails alone. Because Nori discovered something true. Every journey helps you grow. Bravery isn't absence of fear. It's the little fin that stretches, the tail that doesn't curl, the heart that dares to leap into the wide, wonderful world. And from that day forward, when the sea turned gold and the top of the reef glinted with sunlight, Gnarbles would gather near and stare at the horizon, and sometimes, if their fins wiggled just right, they'd see a little silhouette gliding above the waves, riding wind and wonder. And they would know the journey of the noble Gnarble had begun something magical, a wave of bravery carried by even the smallest, most determined heart.